Black Panther 2, Emotional Tribute to Chadwick Boseman. Black Panther, the 30th film of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU, is a sincere work used by the producer to pay tribute to actor Chadwick Boseman's contributions to the franchise. In 2020, Chadwick Boseman died suddenly, leaving a lot of grief in the hearts of fans. At that time, the blockbuster Black Panther sequel was still in pre-production. Deciding not to find another actor to replace the role, Marvel faced the difficult problem of how to continue building a hit series when the central character no longer exists. With Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, director Ryan Coogler tackles this seemingly impossible problem as roundly as possible. Watching the film, people feel the director's affection for his late collaborator and friend. This is reflected in the melancholy atmosphere throughout the length of the work. Along with the death of Chadwick Boseman in real life, the death of King T'Challa is mentioned in the first moments of Black Panther 2. The film is the journey of acceptance, overcoming pain, self-healing, and standing up of Wakanda dynasty and people, especially T'Challa's mother and sister Shuri. Having lost its leader, the Kingdom of Wakanda must now defend itself against the threat of invasion from hostile forces everywhere, especially after T'Challa has made the country's identity public to the world. At the end of the first part, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever approaches two main goals. On the one hand, the film pays tribute to its predecessor and finds a worthy successor. On the other hand, this still needs to keep the role of a standard superhero work, introducing new worlds and characters, expanding the MCU. In terms of memorial, Black Panther 2 is fully implemented, full of emotions and shows respect for the deceased. After T'Challa's death, the film is tinged with mourning and contains a lot of sadness but does not fall into sadness, making the film the most distinctive work of this cinematic universe, up to now. Even though Chadwick Boseman is gone, the actor's influence on the MCU is still profound. The Black Panther warrior, played by the actor, became a symbol of the pride, indomitable spirit, and love of black people, changing the image of this community on the screen. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever continues the successful spirit of the previous film, reflected in how each individual in Wakanda overcomes the pain of loss. Black Panther 2 doesn't spend too much time mourning the death of its venerable king. However, every memorial moment in the film is refined and becomes expensive. Besides, every action and thought of the Wakanda ethnic group is subtle and reminds viewers of the influence of the Black Panther warrior on this community. Sometimes, it is difficult for the audience to recognize the sad expressions and tears that the cast shows are for T'Challa or the late actor himself. Angela Bassett transforms into a strong and brave queen, bringing Wakanda back to normal life. However, in essence, Raymunda is still a widow who lost her child and is facing the fear of losing both her kingdom and her remaining child. Angela delivered an intense and emotional performance. Meanwhile, Letitia Wright as Shuri has made a huge step forward compared to the first film. Shuri chose to hide her pain, diving headfirst into experimenting with new technologies. Having lost her brother's companionship, Shuri is no longer a playful little girl, but a mature, independent woman. Shuri's psychological development journey in Black Panther 2 carries many ups and downs and is full of weight. Letitia Wright has succeeded in conveying the character's heart to the audience. The first Black Panther part became a cinematic phenomenon when it was released in 2018. The work is the first comic book film to be nominated in the Best Picture category at the Oscars. There are many explanations for this success. The most significant is the impact of Black Panther when representing the position of the black community in Hollywood. Black Panther 2 inherits and extends this value while continuing to address the issues of the minority community. Now, the film is no longer confined to the Wakanda community with Africans and African Americans, but also reaches the Latin American community of Central America through the underwater kingdom of Talakang. Talakang is modeled after the ancient Maya and Aztec civilizations, and is a counterweight to Wakanda. After Wakanda and the vibranium mine were no longer a secret to the world, Talakang's identity was also in jeopardy. Leader Namor, Tenoch is forced to stand up to find the person responsible for this and protect the land. Similar to Killmonger in the first part, Namor is a villain with a complicated interior, a thick background story, and fights not only for his own ideals but also for his own community, despite the execution method. Extreme part. When placing Talakang next to Wakanda, it is difficult to distinguish between right and wrong because both have their own arguments and are victims of colonialism. Namor has had a successful debut in the MCU and has a lot of potential to return in upcoming films. Expanding the world, the work entertains viewers with beautiful images of Wakanda and Talakang's backgrounds and costumes. In addition, Black Panther 2 also brings a unique and interesting sound experience from composer Ludwig Göransson, who won an Oscar for the previous film. Ludwig continued to use hip-hop, rap, R&B songs, and traditional instruments with bold African colors, and combined with Latin American sounds to create songs that captivate audiences. In addition, Ludwig also uses the power of silence to highlight the melancholy throughout the work. However, in terms of a superhero movie, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever still has many limitations. With a duration of 161 minutes, the work is spread out, sometimes struggling to connect many storylines, including stories that can be completely omitted. In addition, superhero movie fans may feel disappointed when the work lacks many bloody action scenes. At the same time, the effects in many frames still feel unreal and dark, especially in the Talakang context.